All right, today's video is going to be a combo sort of thing, similar to what happened when I put up a video last August, I think it was, or early September, after Chadwick Boseman had died. My brother sent me a gift. I had no idea what it was going to be, and it was the display. I don't know if you can see it right there beside the Terminator display image of Black Panther. So I did the unboxing of that, and I also attached that to a video about I think it was the Marvel video that they did to honor Chadwick Boseman. So I've got something related to Arnold pulled up here. It's called, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger Leaves the Audience Speechless. It's a motivational speech he did somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. I can't remember what it said. It's about 10 minutes long. And the reason that I decided to watch this right now is because my good friend Derek has sent me something, and I'm going to do an unboxing of it. Well, it's actually multiple things. Some of the stuff, maybe most of the stuff, I already know what it is. It's different Blu-rays or DVDs, stuff like that. But he also sent me a souvenir. He says it was a souvenir from the 2014 Mr. Olympia. I have no idea what it is, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up right now. Now, I don't have the best, I can't really hold the box in such a way. Maybe I could push the camera away a little more. I'll try to do that so maybe you can see what I'm opening up as I open it up. I don't know. I'll see what I can do. Well, this angle is probably the best I can do. I am, tethered to the computer with my earbuds, so I can only push this desk away, but so far. Let's go ahead and open this box. It's been sitting here all afternoon. I've been wanting to get to it, been waiting to film, and so now finally it's almost tomorrow. I got a chance to sit down and do the filming. So here we go. Feels like Christmas. All right, let's see what is in here. I might have to edit some of this out, with all the cutting open and stuff, if it takes me too long, because all I have is a little pair of scissors here. Should have brought a knife. Oh my gosh, really? Derek, you really taped this thing up good. All right. I've almost got it open. Maybe I spoke too soon. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. I know you guys probably can't see it. My goodness, dog hair all over me. Sorry, I get distracted. The ratties will enjoy this. They love this sort of thing. They like to take it, tear it into shreds, and make little nests. So I will save that. Okay. So, yes, some of this stuff I knew about. It's 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I have never seen. I've seen bits and pieces of Cloverfield. I know how it ends. And it's one of those, home video handheld cam type of thing. So I was never really interested to fully watch it because I'm not a real big fan of those types of films. But I heard that this was actually pretty good. So he sent it to me. Oh yeah, Van Helsing. I actually didn't mind this movie too much. I know it was a little limited with the special effects and stuff because this was back in 2004 or something that this came out in. But I thought it was fun. I remember when they had the website up, and I would go check that website so much. Every day I would check it to see if there was an update. It was a cool website. It was him, and in the background was the scenery and the sounds of thunder and stuff. It was cool. I liked it. Oh, okay. This is for Arturo. My Hero Academia, 2 Heroes. Arturo says he has not seen this. He will enjoy it. Oh yeah, Spies in Disguise. I never saw this movie, but it looks really good. All right. My goodness, I'm getting quite the collection. Oh, Universal Soldier. I love this movie. This is such a good film. Yeah, and I don't have this in Blu-ray. Oh, they got commentary. I like that. I don't remember if commentary was on the DVD. They got little featurettes. Nice. That was a really fun film, you guys. Oh, yeah. How does this open up? Oh, that's magnetized. Nice. This is, this is a cool, it's a cool thing here. I've never seen Jason Bourne, which I thought was the last one with him in it. Is this the one he did after Jeremy Renner? Because I don't think I ever saw this particular one. Pretty sure I didn't. I looked it up to see if we had it, or if I even had it in my collection, and I don't think I did. Nice. Oh my goodness, this is a big case. Incredibles 2, sorry. This is a really big. Why is it so big? Oh, the 4K, the bonus. Is that the Blu-ray or DVD? Oh, it's got a, oh my goodness, it's got a, sorry. I'm sitting this stuff all on top of the microwave. It's got a storybook in here. Oh, that's neat. That's really cool. The Art of Incredibles 2 and Incredibles 2 storybook. Wow, this is so tight because it's in, new condition that I'll have to break it open carefully. I don't want to just yank it open. I'll mess it up. I'm surprised at the way some of these cases are. Oh my gosh. I can't get it back in. Jeez, okay. There we go. Okay. Oh, yes. My favorite MCU movie, The Winter Soldier. I love this film. I haven't seen it in a good while, so I feel like I need to rewatch this soon. Sort of special features. Yeah, they got some bonus features on here. I like that. Good movie. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok. I have sad movie. Gee whiz, y'all. Sad movies associated. I have sad memories associated with this movie, but it was a fun movie. It was still a fun movie. I'm not really looking forward to the next one so much. I honestly don't even know if I'll see it, but this was fun. And finally, The Last Action Hero. This is a really good film. It grew on me over the years. When I first saw it, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't in love with it. And then I kind of just became aware of that it was satirical and self-aware. And I just feel like, as it has been mentioned before in discussions, I think it was brought up about how this film was ahead of its time. And so it just wasn't really appreciated. We talked about this in the last live stream discussion for 1993 movies, because this came out in 93. And yeah, but this is a fun movie. And it'll be cool to see it on Blu-ray. Nice. Okay, so we got some supplements here. Nitric oxide booster. I have no idea what this is supposed to be helpful for. Okay, this last thing, I'm down to the last thing. This is the souvenir from the 2014 Mr. Olympia. Oh, this is cool. It's like a pill container, which I do use these things for my vitamins and stuff because I take vitamins and every day. Vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc, and magnesium, and oh, this is nice. I like this. Yes. I like that it's got the cover, right? But when you open it up, it's not just the open trays. Each little section has a lid to it. So that's cool. I will definitely be using this. Oh, he's got his little silhouette on there. I am such a sap when it comes to Arnold, I swear. That's so cool. Thank you, Derek. I really appreciate that. And I will be using this. And I will think of Arnold every day when I use it. And I will think of how nice it was for you to send me this. All right. Very nice. It was like Christmas. Like I said, Christmas came early. All these movies. Oh my goodness gracious. And I've been going through my DVDs and purging some of them. Ones that I'm just not crazy about. Like a lot of them are things that maybe my husband brought home from Goodwill or whatever, because he shops at Goodwill. So he's brought home stuff and we've never watched it, or it's not that good or whatever. So I want to make some room for movies that I really, really dig. So now I've got a place to put these. All right, that was fun. Looking forward to it all day. Thank you very much once again. So I'm going to put this aside and get to watching that video. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press play on this. It's, like I said, it's about 10 minutes long. It's already tomorrow. So hopefully I don't rip too much. I'll try not to. Okay, here we go.
I'm here to talk about success.
I can tell right away this is that funny little thing they did of him pretending like he was singing A Whole New World at the Who's America's Got Talent or whatever. That was taken from this. I can tell because he's standing at that platform. Okay, he's going to talk about success.
The first rule of success is to have a vision. You see, if you don't have a vision of where you go, and if you don't have a goal where you go, you drift around and you never end up anywhere.
That is so true. That's true. And this ties back to stuff that I was listening to him say in his audiobook. Well, Stephen Lang was reading most of it, but Arnold was so goal-oriented. He knew at a young age what he wanted to do, and he had a singular focus toward that. And once he got closer to that goal or got to that goal, then he looked beyond that and knew what else he wanted to do. I mean, this man, what he accomplished was it's just extraordinary. I admire the heck out of him so much because of all the accomplishments he had. Yes, he had failures and he stumbled and fell and did some stupid stuff. But I feel like in his ledger, he's got more in the pro column than in the con. And he always will for me. Okay, sorry. Distracted.
I mean, as you know, I was born in 1947 in Austria after the Second World War. So I was very fortunate that I stumbled onto my vision. And I didn't really like Austria when I grew up.
No, he didn't.
I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself becoming a farmer or a worker in a factory or anything like that. Even though my parents wanted me to stay there and have a normal life.
And I don't think he's saying that to put down farmers or people that work in factories. That's just not what he wanted to do. He had other things in mind for his life. And some people, they are perfectly fine to do these other things that he didn't feel was suited for him. Sometimes I think when people hear these types of speeches, they feel like that they're putting people down, people in these positions or, these other occupations. But I don't think that's the case. He's just trying to talk about goals. And if you want to move beyond certain places in your life, that's not necessarily Literally, I'm speaking figuratively.
But that was their vision, not mine. My vision was totally different. I felt that I was born for something special, for something unique, for something big. Then one day I went to school. I remember I was 11 years old, and they showed a documentary about America. And there they showed in this documentary the huge skyscrapers, the high-rises, the huge bridges, the 6-lane freeways.
I'm not a fan of those
and
things.
all of this stuff, and I said to myself, that's where I want to be.
See, he came from a small, rural type of place, farmers, and I guess to him, maybe something like the things he's describing would be pretty awesome. I don't like big cities. I can't stand them. There's too many people, too much political nonsense. It's just too much. I like breathing room. I don't necessarily like being out in a place where it's so desolate there's nothing around, but some people love the big city and those 6-lane highways, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. I'll pass.
I don't want to be around here with these little farmhouses and these little buildings. I want to be in America. One day after school, I walked by a store in Graz. So I went inside and I looked around, and then I saw a magazine. I saw a bodybuilding magazine that had Reg Park on the cover.
About that.
Reg Park was then a 3-time Mr. Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him on the big screen as Hercules.
And he ended up
I
defeating
read that
him
and I said to
in
myself,
competition.
wow, this is the blueprint for my life. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to become a bodybuilding champion just like Reg Park. I want to get into movies just like Reg Park. And I want to make millions of dollars and be rich and famous just like Reg Park. You know how great it felt that I knew where I was going? Imagine the majority of people don't know where they're going. I knew where I was going, that I'm going to become this bodybuilding champion just like him. So it was just a question of how do you do it? I was so relieved because when you have a goal, when you have a vision, everything becomes easy. So people always ask me, when they saw me in the gym in the pumping iron days, they say, why is it that you're working out so hard? 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and you have always a smile on your face. And I told people all the time, I said, because to me, I'm shooting for a goal. In front of me is the Mr. Universe title. So every rep that I do gets me closer to accomplishing that goal, to make this goal, this vision turn into reality. Every single set that I do, every repetition, every weight that I lift will get me a step closer to turn this goal into reality. So I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound squat. I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound bench press. I couldn't wait to do another 2,000 reps of sit-ups. I couldn't wait for the next exercise. At the age of 20, I went to London and I won the Mr. Universe contest as the youngest Mr. Universe ever.
Yeah.
And it was because I had a goal. So let me tell you something, visualizing your goal and going after it.
That music is getting to me, y'all. I'm getting a little teary-eyed listening to this motivational speech. Why? I think it's because like all of those years and decades of success are behind him for the most part, and he's inching ever closer to his final days, and that makes me so freaking sad. I don't like that. Okay, let's proceed.
Makes it fun. You got to have a purpose no matter what you do in life. You got to have a purpose. 74% hate their job in America. Now, there's not much different when you come to Europe. The majority of people don't like what they're doing because they're really not doing it because they didn't have a goal and they followed this goal. They just aimlessly drift around, and then all of a sudden there's a job opening, so they get that job because you have to work. But then when you work, it's a chore.
For a lot of people.
It's work.
For for a lot of people, that's true. They just settle for it because they have to. I mean, they have to, make money. You have to make money. And some people are perfectly fine with a job that they don't have to invest a whole lot of their time and energy in. They do their job, then they like to just come home and chill and just do whatever. And they're fine that way. But I think he's referring specifically to the people that feel a lot of discontent with their life and the job they're in and just feeling like they're aimless because they don't have a goal. If your goal is, I just want to go to work and I want to come home and live my life and be with that's your goal. And that's fine. But if you have other goals beyond that framework and yet you just settle, if you have other goals beyond that framework, you don't want to just settle for a certain type of job or career or life or whatever. So
it's not fun. So if you think about, only a quarter of the people really enjoy what they're doing in life. That is unbelievable if you think about it. So I felt so blessed that I knew what I was doing. It's like a medical student that studies and knows he wants to become a doctor. You know where to go. And the same thing is also in politics. I remember that in politics, I had a very clear vision that I will be the leader of California. This is as far as I could go because I was not born in America, so I could not run for president. So being the governor of the 5th largest state.
Well, in Demolition Man, he could. I just rewatched that recently. And I remember that there was mention about him becoming president in there.
So I could not run for president.
I remember that night when he won. I watched it.
So being the governor of the 5th largest state, I should say the largest state, the 5th largest economy in the world, was for me really the ultimate title, the ultimate accomplishment in politics. So even though people came up to me and says, why don't you go and run for something smaller? You're never going to make it. I ran for governor, and then 2 months later, I became governor of the state of California.
Yeah, it was funny how that worked out. It was like the stars aligned for it to just work out perfectly for him. And I remember when he announced, I remember during the debates, and I remember when he won the election. It was crazy. I was just like, it felt so surreal. It's like this guy, when he came from little Graz, Austria, he dominated bodybuilding. He dominated the movies. He dominated California politics. It's like, dude. Oh, and he married into the Kennedy family. I swear.
Again, because I had a very clear vision what I'm going to do with California. So that's rule number 1, have a vision. Rule number 2 is don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the naysayers. Everything I ever did, the thing that I heard out of people's mouth was, that's impossible.
Nothing
that can't
is impossible.
Be done. Or no. That is exactly what I heard. And of course, I proved to the people that it can't be done. So whenever someone said to me, it can't be done, I heard it can be done. When they said no, I heard yes. And when they said it's impossible, I heard it is possible. I'm a strong believer of what Nelson Mandela said, that everything is always impossible until someone does it. Well, I'm going to be the one that said to myself, I'm going to do it and I'm going to show it to them. Maybe it has never been done before. That's perfectly fine with me. But I'm going to do it. And I did not listen to the naysayers. It's all about the hard work that you put in. I said to myself, in bodybuilding, I worked out 5-6 hours a day. I'm going to do the same thing.
He looks like my brother there.
And of course, I went to college to study English. I studied the accent removal, acting classes, and all of this stuff.
Removal didn't work
all day long. I worked and I worked and I worked. And within a short period of time, I made one movie called Hercules in New York, which of course went right into the toilet. But But it didn't discourage me.
Terrible.
I still had the same vision. And then all of a sudden I did Streets of San Francisco. I did Stay Hungry and Pumping Iron and The Villain. And then all of a sudden I was asked by Dino De Laurentiis and by Universal Studio to star in Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And after I did Conan the Barbarian, the director at the press conference said to the press, the director was John Milius. He said to the press, if we wouldn't have had Arnold, we would have had to build one.
Yeah.
So think about that. The very body that they said can never be sold because the time is wrong. A few years later, I'm doing Conan the Barbarian, and it was the #1 hit at the box office when it came out.
I remember when that movie came
in the
out.
summer of '82. Think about that. And the director says, if we wouldn't have had his body, we would have had to build one. So all of a sudden, my body became an asset, not a liability. And the same thing was with Terminator. After we were finished filming Terminator, Jim Cameron said to the press, if Arnold wouldn't have had that accent and talked like a machine, I think the movie wouldn't have worked. So think about that. The body and the accent that they attacked was an asset. But I didn't listen to those losers. I didn't listen to them at all. It's just the reality of it is that you cannot listen to the naysayers. So this is a very important lesson for all of you. So when someone says, no, this is a stupid idea, you in your mind, you don't have to say it, but in your mind, just say this of you asshole. What do you know?
Is this the one where at the end of it, he was sitting? It's not going to show it, but when they were doing that other little spoof thing where he was supposed to be singing A Whole New World, they showed a scene of him backstage sitting, just sitting by himself, and he just kind of like doing like this with his head. That particular shot just, I remember when I saw that just hit me. Like, it just made me so sad because he's all by himself. And there's no reason to feel sorry for him, but it just, I don't know. I think it's because of the thing I already mentioned, you know, how he's getting closer to the end of his days, and it just made me sad. And it makes me sad to think about that. But at the same time, his life was so extraordinary, and what he accomplished was just, not many people are made of the mental stuff that he's made of. And he talked before, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in another video or a live stream or something, but he talked in his book about the abuse that he went through as a kid, because his father was abusive. And he talked about how if it weren't for that, maybe he wouldn't have had the drive that he did have in his life to do the things that he ended up accomplishing. So so it's like he had a way, and it would be, I think the world in general would be a much better place if everybody took this sort of outlook on things that happen in your life that can seem like such a negative. A lot of times down the road, it ends up that there was not necessarily, I don't know if I want to say a good reason, but like, let's say there was a good result that happened because of this bad thing that occurred, that at the time you thought was just awful. And I think about that movie Cyns, and the movie Cyns was fundamentally a religious movie. It was a faith-based type of movie. But I appreciate the ultimate message that these terrible things that happened to him, how it all came around to be that was what ended up saving his kids, his family, his life, and defeating this big bad that had come into the world. So I that always struck me, and I admit I'm not the most successful at viewing things that way. When something bad happens, I just focus on that, and it's just and doom and gloom and everything. But at the same time, I just feel like if you focus on that too much, that can just really drag you down, right? You know, when people are focused so much on all the wrong that they think has been done to them, and a lot of times it's not stuff that has been done to them. It's things that have happened as a result of the choices that they've made or the way that they've treated other people. So instead of trying to be so internal about things like that, maybe if people can take a step back and try to see the positive or the possible positive that might come from something that seems like this terrible stumbling block in front of you at the time. I mean, that's the type of mindset he had. He didn't he could have been someone that could have just not cared about anything and just felt, woe is me. His father was abusive and he didn't feel capable of anything. He felt like crap, and he felt, because this is what happens a lot of times to people that are abused. They don't handle it very well because abuse is awful, and their life just ends up going in this terrible tailspin. A lot of times people that do awful things, like let's say, killers, serial killers, dictators that kill millions of people, almost all of the time, you can trace back to their childhood a horrible form of abuse and mistreatment. And it does mess with people. So it takes a really strong mindset to not let that sort of thing take you down a pathway that's not a healthy and good pathway for you to be on. And he had this ability to just, this is what he was going to do, and he didn't let people hold him back. He talks in his book about the mistakes that he made, and he was willing to listen and learn from people that knew better. He didn't just barrel through and think he knew everything about whatever, but he had a lot of business smarts. He took business courses. His fortune was actually made through real estate. That was how he got rich initially, and then of course the movies piled onto that. But he was smart. I mean, he just had this innate sense of good business sense about him. And some of that might have been because of the education he had, but a lot of it was that's just the way his mind worked. He was just smart about that sort of stuff. And he generally wasn't too impatient. He had goals and he worked toward it, and it would be a goal many years in the future, and yet he would still just slowly but surely inch toward what he wanted to do. Now that he's accomplished all this, there's not much more he can do as far as goals like that, right? He can't be president. I don't know what he wants to do. He's just doing his thing now. But maybe he's just reached a point where he doesn't, that's not important to him anymore. I don't know. Maybe that's his goal. But this was an interesting speech. It was very touching. And I think that it would be magnificent if most people could have this type of outlook on life. Can you imagine how much better off everybody would be in general? But because humans are humans and we're flawed and we don't always do what we should and think the way we should, that will never happen. That everybody would be so clear-minded about stuff and not, let things drag them down into the depths of despair and horrid negativity and toxicity. But that's why this is called a motivational speech. And that was cool. And I like that I chose to watch that. I was trying to figure out which Arnold stuff to watch. And for some reason, I was just, because I have several Arnold things in my list, but for some reason, I was just drawn to this because I've been putting this one off for a while. Because I felt like I wasn't sure if I would have the mental energy and with itness to be able to focus on what he was saying. I probably chose kind of not the best time to watch it because it is kind of late or early in the morning, but I was up for it today. So yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have anything else. Can't think of anything else. So I'm going to wrap this up. And thank you guys for watching this with me. And thank you, Derek, for the very nice package. Bye, guys.